there's two options that we're looking at. And one is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Walz presidency. Or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump.
This is a breaking news video. We just got a bombshell announcement out of the RFK campaign that could be really good news for Donald Trump. I'll tell you about it in a second, folks. But first, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And the announcement is none other than what I think a lot of people were hoping for, which is that RFK may be dropping out of the race and endorsing Trump. And this is not some type of insider rumor we're hearing or whatever. No, listen as RFK's own VP says this publicly on a podcast. So this is not some type of secret speculation. Check it out.
What my gut tells me right now is that we just have to keep being honest. I got to just keep being honest. I got to keep focusing on what matters the most outside of party lines. I need to focus on a vision that goes beyond November. And if that means that we stay in, and, you know, there's benefits to staying in. If we get over 5% of the vote, we actually establish ourselves as a party. 71% of Americans want a strong third party with a real shot at winning. There's even public funds available if we get over 5% of the vote. So we could get, I think it's like $13.5 million in public funds to keep the party going. And that's, you know, that's worth something.
So that's her obviously talking about, again, they're considering it, right? She has not decided on whether or not they're going to stay in or drop out, but I'm playing that here for the full context. Now take a listen as she talks about the alternative option. And I think the fact, again, that they are saying this publicly tells you it's got to be a pretty strong possibility, you would think, right? Because if this is just some type of random crackpot idea, you wouldn't be saying this publicly on a podcast, although I don't know, it's the RFK campaign, so maybe they would, but you know, it's not something you normally say.
That means that we can position for a real third party election in 2028 where we don't have to go around and spend tens of millions of dollars on ballot access, which means that we can spend all of that time and money campaigning. So, you know, there's two options that we're looking at. And one is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Walz presidency because we draw votes from Trump, or we draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump and you know, we walk away from that and we explain to our base why we're making this decision. Not easy.
Clearly.
Yeah, not an easy decision.
If you run an e-commerce business, you already know that shipping can consume valuable time and resources, but our sponsors at ShipStation make it easier. They're the multi-carrier shipping solution that integrates wherever you sell online and streamlines your workflow so your business can grow even if you're on vacation. And from my experience in using them so far, I like what I see. Their easy-to-use dashboard makes managing orders smooth, label printing, reporting, and customer service easy. ShipStation's new inventory sync feature streamlines e-commerce operations by eliminating the need for manual updates. Inventory sync updates hourly also ensure that inventory levels are always accurate and up to date. Now ShipStation's users can easily manage inventory across multiple platforms, and they support synchronizing inventory across the largest e-commerce platforms such as Amazon, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Shopify, and Walmart, with more channels coming soon. You can also save thousands on shipping costs with discounts of up to 89% off on UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates. So folks, work less and ship more with ShipStation, the innovative tool that helps turn your shipping challenges into opportunities for growth. Go to ShipStation.com/Vince to sign up for your 60-day free trial. Again, that is ShipStation.com/Vince. So there you hear her say, not an easy decision publicly, right? This is not something you say out loud unless it is something you're seriously, strongly considering. And that's a big deal for Trump if it happens, right? If RFK drops out and endorses Trump, why exactly? Well, before Biden dropped out of the race, I didn't really mind RFK being in the race because there was some evidence to show he really would pull from both candidates and arguably might pull even a little more from Biden because of disaffected Democrats who are either not happy with the party or the state of Biden's campaign or whatever it was. But obviously now that Kamala Harris is the candidate, that option has already been given to them. And so I think the issue now with RFK staying in the race is that, yes, he is going to pull more from Trump. And that's what you're seeing in the polls, by the way. Back when it was Trump versus Biden in the polls, it was kind of a wash. A couple polls showed RFK pulling from Trump, but a lot also showed them pulling from Biden. Most cases, Trump didn't really need the help. But obviously now, if this is going to be a close election and the Democrat vote, including the disaffected Democrats with Biden, have now consolidated for Kamala Harris, obviously in the grand scheme of things, RFK is irrelevant. He's going to struggle, frankly, to get 5% in that national popular vote. But in a close election, which this likely will be, that 0.5 or 1% or maybe even 2 to 3% that he is pulling from Donald Trump can seriously make the difference in a key swing state. So I don't want to undervalue it. It would be a huge, gigantic deal. But even from the ideological perspective, is it the right thing for RFK to do? Is it the right thing for Donald Trump to do or for Donald Trump to accept? To which I would also say, I firmly believe yes, right? RFK is a guy that I may disagree a lot on some social issues or political issues, but when it comes to the things he's really known for, whether it's cleaning up the food and medical system, which, by the way, I completely think we have to do totally, and have always agreed with RFK on that, or it has to do with his other passion, which is dismantling the national security state, the administrative state, right? Draining the swamp. Trump and RFK have strong alignments on these issues, and so I absolutely believe if they make a deal, right? Trump says to RFK, you can be head of the CDC if you want to tackle the food and medical stuff, or you can be the head of some type of government bureaucracy and sort of clean it out. Either way, I think that would be a strong move. And as you can tell from RFK's VP speaking, their campaign obviously believes that Kamala Harris is the greater threat to this country, and they agree more with Trump on the issues. So I say, why not be practical? Why not be adults? Why not go ahead and do it? It is looking like, according to them saying this publicly, it may be happening. And by the way, Donald Trump leaving the door open. He recently said that he would be fully open to giving RFK Jr. a role in his future administration. Take a listen.
RFK, because just moments ago, his running mate said that they were considering endorsing you. Have you considered him for a role in the administration, and what role would that be?
Well, we haven't, but I would love that endorsement because I've always liked him.
Would you also consider putting him in the administration?
You're asking me a very unusual question. I haven't been asked that question yet. I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen.
Now, obviously, this would be a little strange for traditional Republicans since RFK has a lot of incredibly progressive stances. It also comes a day after he said he would consider putting Elon Musk in the administration. I asked what an administration with two people who a lot of Republicans would not necessarily back would look like. What would he tell Republicans who wouldn't want to vote for that administration? He blew it off. He said that he believes he is smart, that they are smart, that Republicans like him, and it's his decision.
Isn't it so funny, by the way, 6 months ago when RFK was playing spoiler to Joe Biden, what was he? He was a conspiracy theorist, an anti-vaxxer. He's a secret right-winger. And then suddenly now that Trump is saying, yeah, I would strongly consider him in the administration, CNN is referring to him as a guy with very progressive values. Like, which one is it? And again, Absolutely. I'm in total agreement there. There are many issues I disagree with RFK on, but on the ones that we do align on, more than happy to allow him to have some type of spot in that administration. And on this note, another recent comment made by the RFK camp was essentially that every time they've tried to talk to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they completely blew off RFK, right? Didn't care, didn't want to talk to them, whatever. Where according to them, and they said this, and we didn't say this, they said this, Donald Trump seems to be showing serious and legitimate interest in what they are saying and what they want to do. And this recent leaked phone call between the two shortly after the assassination attempt may be some evidence of that. Check it out.
I agree with you, man. Something's wrong with that whole system. And, and it's the doctors you find. Remember I said I want to do small doses. But you and I talked about that a long time ago. And anyway, I would love you to do something. And I think it'll be so good for you and so big for you. And we're going to win. We're going to win. We're way ahead of the guy. And, he's interesting. It was very nice, actually. He called me. And he said, how did you choose to move to the right? So I guess that's, people say, if I was looking straight on, right? He said, I said, I was just showing a chart. I didn't have to tell him the chart was on all the people pouring into our country, right? But I just turned my head to show the chart. And something wrapped me. It felt like a giant, like the world's largest mosquito. And it was a bullet going around.
So there you hear Donald Trump agreeing with RFK on some of the medical stuff, kind of getting along with him and saying, I would love for you to do something. So now I think RFK has a choice to make, which is you can continue this presidential campaign for your own ego, or I don't know, maybe you really do want to start that third party, although you could always start it later, right? No one says you can't do it in 2028 or after that. But even then, beyond that front, do you want to influence power on the things you care about, right? Because in Trump's administration, you could actually be making a difference, or you could keep going on these podcasts and, being kind of an internet activist, but not really affecting the real world. I think RFK Jr., again, has a choice to make. Hope he makes the right choice. But if they are saying this now publicly and they're not denying it, I think we have pretty good odds that RFK will be dropping out and endorsing Trump. It's not a guarantee, but like I said, pretty good odds. That said, folks, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, check out our friends over at ShipStation, and until next time, God bless and peace.